So there's all the right answers, but you guys have all seen them already. I'll leave it sit on the screen for a moment. Everything I said, blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Square root, blah, 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 blah. Minus the other square, blah, 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 blah. Numbers work together, blah, 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 blah. 1/9 is 1/3, blah, 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 blah. Or, to quote Adam Sandler in Hotel Transylvania, I do not say blah, 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 blah. Even though he does. Now, 13. What do you know about even exponents? Jack? They can, no. That they all have a square root. What would the square root of x to the 12th be?
6.
X to the 6th. What would the square root of x to the 48th be?
X to the 24th.
24th. What would the square root of x to the 72 be?
36.
X to the 36th. What would the square root of x to the y be?
1 over y.
X to the...
1 over y.
No.
Y over 1. Y over 2.
Y divided by 2.
Oh yeah, because it's like...
This is the one that always works. So, that now I have to ask you, what is the square root, before I actually explain 13, what is the square root of x to the 15th? Doesn't have one. It's not perfect. Okay? So, since you know that as a square root, and you know its difference, and you know 16 is a perfect square, you know that all you do is take the square root of the first one, which is what?
4.
X to the 4th. And you add the square root of the second one, which is what? 4. And then you write it again with a minus sign, right? Then you say to yourself, self, am I done? And your self answers, no, you're not. That's an even number, and that's a perfect square. So you work it again. X squared plus 2, x squared minus 2. Then you say to yourself, self, am I done? That's a perfect square. That's a difference. But 2 doesn't have a square root. So I am done. Everybody good? Excellent. Turn the page over because I asked you to do page 135 as well. There is 135 highlighted on green. 135 is putting all of your factoring powers together. Jack, be nimble. Jack, be quick. Of course. Anyone for 1 through 9? I want to go over number 1. I'm hoping that people have trouble with number 1.
No, I just figured it out.
Yeah, I did not do it right.
Let's start with 1 because everybody asked. Again, guys, how do you do math that looks slightly different? You try what you already know, yes?
Yeah.
If this was x squared, you would want numbers that multiply to 16 and add to 17. Negative 17, yes? And what would it be? Negative 1 and negative 16, correct?
Yeah.
And it would be x minus 1 and x minus 16. Does everyone agree? Okay. Now, if you expand this, you would get x times x would be x squared, yes? But you don't need x squared, you need x to the 4th. So this must be x squared and x squared, right? Now, is that a perfect square? Is that a difference? Is that a perfect square? So can we factor it? Yes. X plus 1, x minus 1. Is that a perfect square? Is that a difference? Is that a perfect square? So can I factor it? X plus 4, x minus 4. Does any of that order matter? No, because A times B times C times D is the same as D times B times C times A. It doesn't matter because 5 times 2 is the same as 2 times 5. Cool with number 1. Please understand that what you already know gives you the answer here, because you all already know that x times x is x squared, and x squared times x squared is x to the 4th. Okay? Anything from the rest of 2 through 9? Oh, Tash asked for 3. What's common to both? 10. So I divide out my common factor of 10. 10 goes to the front. 10 divided by 10 cancels, leaves me an x. 10 divided by 10 cancels, leaves me a y. Done diddly-un. Anything else? Brianna. Number 5. Sure I can. What do you notice? There, and there. They're all x's, so that means they're common, yes? How many x's are common to all of them? 1. So I'm going to take out 1x, which means I write x squared plus 8x plus 16, yes? And then I need numbers that multiply to 16 and add to what?
4.
No. 8. Is it 1 and 16?
No.
2 and 8?
No.
4 and 4?
Yeah.
Yes. So it is x.
Sick. It's broken computer.
I wish this computer was my x computer. X plus 4. X plus 4. Now we want our math to look as simple as possible, right? So how many factors have I written here? No. Look, 3. Because I have x plus 4, and x plus 4, yes? I want it as simple as possible because those two factors are the same. I can write it as x plus 4 squared. Okay? Anything else from 1 through 9? Going once. Going twice. Thrice.
Is thrice actually a term?
Thrice is. There is the next ones.
Can we talk about? We talk about
10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
11.
I have 1 for 11.
17.
I have a 17.
15. 18.
So all of them.
11. Just only 11.
Okay.
15, 17, 18.
Again. What do you notice? There, and there. There, it's got a GCF, yes? And what are we supposed to do every chance we get?
Always try to GCF.
So, I'm going to erase it all so we can go over it step by step. What is the GCF there? 5 goes into all of it. 1 single x and 2 y's. 5 xy squared x squared plus 2xy minus 24y squared. Now, if the y squared wasn't there, then what would you do? You would need numbers that multiplied to what? Negative 24 and added to what?
2.
2. Is it 1 and 24? 2 and 6? 2 and 12. Duh. Is it 2 and 12? Is it 3 and 8? Is it 4 and 6?
Yeah.
Yes. So it would be 5xy squared x. How do I get 6 and 4 to add to 2 but multiply to a negative?
-6.
Negative 6 plus 4 would be negative 2.
Oh, -4.
Positive 6 minus 4, yes? Now, I look at that and I say, okay, I got it. Except there's a y and a y squared there, yes? So if x times x gets me x squared, what do I need here to make 6 and 4 make 24y squared? I need a y. Done. What makes it difficult? It looks different. Is it difficult? It's exactly the same. Jack wanted C11.
Yes.
I need numbers that multiply to negative 30 and add to negative 1.
31. On -30.
So 1 and 30, no. 2 and 15, no. 3 and 10, no. 5 and 6. 5 minus 6 gets me negative 1. 5 times negative 6 gets me negative 30.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Anything else? That's on the screen now because there's 2 more questions at the bottom. Oh, Riley, what's his face? 16. All right. What do you notice about that and that? They're the same. So what if I wrote this as A and A? Then what would it look like? It would be 2A minus 3YA, yes? What do you notice about A and A? They're common. So I'm going to bring A out of there, and I'm going to get A times 2 minus 3Y, yes? But is A part of the original equation?
No.
A is x plus 3. So what do I write here instead of A? X plus 3, and I can just erase the A. Got it? Okay. Chloe. 17. Exact same as 16. Kinda. What do you notice about that and that? They're the same. So isn't this 6xa minus 4a? Isn't it? Is everybody okay with that? Now, wait. What do you notice about 6 and 4? They can be divided by 2. So I can divide by 2. So what goes out front? 2. And what letter is that? A. And what's still there? 3x minus 4. Correct? Sorry, 2. 2. Right? Everybody cool?
I don't know why there's a minus instead of a plus.
Oh, because I wrote it wrong. That's why. Everybody good? Now, is there an A anywhere in there? So what do I write instead of A? 2x minus 1, 3x plus 2. Good? Everybody okay? And what's the trick with 18? Because these guys aren't the same, but they look pretty similar. Divide by negative 1, which changes these signs, right? And what does it do to that sign? Makes it a negative. Now you should already have noticed that in our final answer, the common factor lives by itself, and what's left over lives by itself. What happened here? The common factor lives by itself, and what's left over lives by itself, except we took another 2 out of it, right? So here, the common factor, x minus 1, lives by itself, and 3 minus x is what's left over. Does everybody see that nice little shortcut that we get from doing the a substitution thing? So what if I gave you this? X, y plus 2 minus 3, y plus 2. Can you do that without writing the a now? Yeah. What is it?
3,
x minus 3, y plus 2. No. Done. Everybody see it? Do you want to see this with the a to see the connection? If I make this a and a, then I have xa minus 3a, yes? Take out the a, x minus 3. A is that. So there it is. Everybody good? Nick, of course you can go to the bathroom. Is everybody good? All right. Now that we are all awesome at factoring, because believe it or not, you guys are really, really good. This is really hard math. Go on to page 137.
Don't like that.
Now.
Oh, I thought we were going to be 136. Oh, no, not like that.
Okay. If I only showed you this, that's already factored, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what do you do when something is factored? You expand it, right? So it would be x squared plus 6x plus 4x plus 24, right? Which would get me x squared plus 10x plus 24, right?
Yeah.
Now, if I only showed you, it'll come back. If I only showed you that, what would you do? You would factor it, and you would need numbers that multiplied to what? 24, and added to what? 10. And then you would say to yourself, self, is it 1 and 24? No. 2 and 12? No. 3 and 8? No. 4 and 6? Yes. And it would be x plus 4, x plus 6. Correct? Okay.
What?
Is everybody cool with that? We've already done that to death. We've done that a million times, right? Okay, now, look at the second thing that I have highlighted in green. Are those factors? Yeah, because they're two things multiplying together, right? So what do we do when we already have factors? We expand, don't we? Okay, so what is the first one? 6x squared. What is the second one?
Minus 4x.
What is the third one?
Minus 2.
Plus 3x. And what is the fourth one? And what do I then do with all of them? 6x squared. Negative 4 plus 3 is minus x minus 2, correct? Now, what do you notice about what is highlighted in yellow and what is highlighted in blue? Talk to me about their similarities. They both have an x squared.
They both have a single.
They both have a single x, a linear term.
They both have a whole number.
They both have a constant. What else?
They are both trinomials.
They're both trinomials. Yeah? Everybody agrees with those four comparisons, right? Now, if this 6 wasn't here, then I would need numbers that multiplied to 2 and added to negative 1, correct?
Yeah.
Right? Like what we did in yellow. Right? What number should be right there?
1.
1. Everyone agree? So when I do this factoring, I am considering this to be a 1, right? What is that number now? 6, which means everything I do must be 6 times bigger, correct? Does that make sense to everyone? When it was 1, I needed 24. But now I need something that's 6 times bigger, right? So if that's 6 times bigger, what does that need to be? Not 2. What does it need to be?
12.
Negative 12, because it's 6 times bigger. Does everybody see that? Now, you know that when we do our FOIL in the middle, they're going to add together still, aren't they? We know that when we FOILed this out, even though these numbers were bigger, they still added to 1, didn't they? So I still add to 1. Is everybody cool? The number I need to multiply to is 6 times bigger, but the middle term stays the same. Is everybody okay? All right. So now, what are the factors of 12 that add to 1? Is it 1 and 12? Is it 1 and 12? No. Is it 2 and 6?
No.
Is it 3 and 4?
Yes.
Yes. How do I get to negative 1?
4.
3 minus 4, yes? So it would be, if this 6 wasn't here, it would be x plus 3, and it would be x minus 4, wouldn't it? Does everyone agree? Everyone sees what we've done here, right? It's the exact same thing as we did before, except instead of using just that number, we had to multiply it by the 6, because 6 is 6 times bigger than that. Is everybody cool? Okay. Now, when we factor, what math are we doing? Division. Have we done any division yet?
No.
No. How did we know we needed 3 and 4? We had to multiply by 6, didn't we?
Yeah.
So what do we got to do now to factor that 3 and 4? Divide by what do you think? 6. So I'm going to divide that 3 by 6. I'm going to divide that 4 by 6. Now you guys have been through grade 3 with Mrs. Bad Crumble. Would you ever leave that fraction like that? No. What would you write it as? 1/2. Would you ever leave that fraction like that? What would you write it as? 2/3. Now, please notice something. What do you see there? 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 2x plus 1. What do you see there? 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 3x minus 2. And you're factoring when you've got a number out in front instead of nothing.
I don't like this sorcery.
Now, check. Is 2x times 3x 6x squared?
Yeah.
Yep. Is 1 times negative 2 negative 2?
Yeah.
So are we right?
Yeah.
You're damn skippy. Now, I'm going to do something that I don't normally do. I usually start easy, don't I?
Oh, but you're just going in.
I'm starting with a giant number because I have decided this is about the time in the year that I'm ready to carve my eyes out with a ruler because you guys don't believe me that if it works on the easy ones, it'll work on the big ones. So I'm starting with a big one this time. Instead of being 1, what is it? 20. It's 20 times bigger, yes?
Yaw.
So if there was no 20 there, I would need to multiply to 10, wouldn't I?
Yes.
But there's a 20 there. So what do I need to multiply to?
200.
200. What do I need to add to? 33. Is it 1 and 200?
Yes. No.
Is it 2 and 100?
No. It's 25.
Is it 4 and 50? Is it 5 and 40?
No.
Is it 8 and 25? Yeah. So I have b plus 8. But it's not 8, is it? Because I multiplied it by 20, so it's 8 over 20.
Which is actually 4 over 2.
Is it? And it's 25. Is it 25? No, it's 25 over 20. And now you say to yourself, Mrs. Bad Crumble would not like this. What do I do here?
Reduce.
What's that?
It's 2 over 5.
2/5. What's that?
5 over 4.
5/4. Where does the 5 go?
Out in front.
Out in front. 5b plus 2. Where does the 4 go? Out in front. 4b plus 5. Do I have time to check? Yes, I do. What's 5b times 4b? 20b squared. What's 2 times 5? 10. Am I right? Yep. We use exactly what we already know, and then common sense, because it's 6 times bigger, or 20 times bigger, or in this case, how many times bigger?
20.
No, this case.
Oh,
3 times bigger. In this case,
8.
8 times bigger. In this case,
6.
everybody see what's happening? Now, let's start applying it. I normally would need to multiply to 10, yes? But it's 3 times bigger, so what am I multiplying to?
30.
What kind of 30? Negative 30. And what am I adding to? Negative 13. Is it 1 and 30?
No.
Is it 2 and 15?
Yes.
Yes. Why? Is it 2 minus 15 or is it 15 minus 2?
It's 2 minus
2 minus 15. So it's s plus 2, but not 2. 2 over 3 because we had to multiply that 3. And it's s minus 15, but not 15. 15 over 3. And then Mrs. Bad Crumble says, simplify your fractions. Does that simplify? 2/3. Does that simplify? 2/3 simplifies?
Oh, I think
It's simplified.
It's simplified. So where does the 3 go? To the front. 3s plus 2. Does that simplify? To what? 5. S minus 5. Then we check. Is 3s times s 3s squared? Yep. Is 2 times negative 5 negative 10? So are we right? You damn Skippy, we're right. It's something that cheesy rapper guys said in the early 90s.
Who was it? Tupac?
Now, guys, you have now seen 2 of them, and you are all looking me right in the eyes and saying, we got this, Myers. What do I always do when you start saying, we got this, Myers? I mix it up a little, right?
Yellow dicey.
Look at number 3 there and tell me, what do you see that we have already done a ton that you're supposed to do every chance you get? Is there a greatest common factor there? What is it? 3. So I divide everything by 3. And what goes to the front? 3. And what's in the middle? Now, I need numbers that multiply to what? Normally it would be 3, but now it's 6. And add to what? Negative 7. Is it 1 and 6?
Negative 1 and negative.
Why is it negative and negative?
Because 2 negatives make a
2 negatives multiply to a positive and add to that. So I rewrite it. X minus 1. But it's not 1.
It's negative 1 over 2.
2.
Yeah.
And x minus 6. But it's not 6.
It's negative 6 over
6 over 2. And then what do I do with those fractions? No. Simplify. Does 1/2 simplify?
No.
No. So where does the 2 go?
To the front.
To the front. 2x minus 1. Does that simplify?
Yes.
Yes.
3 of 1.
I do indeed. It's the 83, though. Burritos are delicious. That's what I had for dinner last night. Son of a motherless goat.
Do you want like a real burrito or do you want like a fake cheesy?
I know I do. There it is. Thank you, sir. Yes, go, TJ. What does that simplify to? Sarah? Because we multiplied a 2, so we have to divide the 2 out. We multiplied a 20, so we have to divide the 20 out. We multiplied a 3, so we divide the 3 out. So we multiplied a 2. What is 6 divided by 2? 3. So x minus 3. Then do we check? Is 2x times x 2x squared?
Yes.
Is negative 1 times negative 3 positive 3?
Yes.
Yes. Is 3 times 2 6?
Yes.
Yes. Is 3 times 3 9?
Yes.
Yes. And we're good.
Mind blown.
What's happening in 4? Can't GCF though, can I? So I got to multiply to what?
40.
What kind of 40?
Negative 40.
And add to what? Negative 18. Is it 1 and 40?
No.
Is it 2 and 20? Which one's negative? 20. So it's P minus 20, but it's not minus 20. 20 over 8. And it's P plus 2, but it's not 2.
2 over 8.
2 over 8. And then what do I do with the fractions? Simplify. What's that one? 5 over 2. What's that one? 1 4. What do you do with the denominators?
Put it in front.
To the front. 2p minus 5. 4p plus 1. And then I check. Is 2p times 4p, see how I highlighted them yellow? Because I'm actually an 8-year-old. 8p.
Hey, but you're smarter than
5 and 1, negative 5. Are we right?
Yes.
How do you get? 8, okay. If there was no 8 there, we'd need to multiply to negative 5, right? But there's an 8 there, so the number I need to multiply to has to be 8 times bigger. So I do 8 times 5. Please notice, Chloe, that we have done that every time. 20 times 10, 200. 3 times 10, 30. 2 times 3, 6. 8 times 5, 40. Right? Okay, what's going to happen with 5? No!
Find that GCF.
You're going to GCF 5. What is it? 4. What's the first one? 6h squared. What's the second one? What's the third one? 6. Now, what do I need to multiply to? What kind of 36?
Negative 36.
And what do I need to add to? Is it 1 and 36? No. Is it 2 and 18? No. Is it 3 and 12? No. Is it 4 and 5? 4 and 9? I just gave it away. Yes. Which one's negative?
9.
Minus 9. So it's 4h plus 4, but it's not 4. 4 over 6. And h minus 9, but it's not 9, it's...
9 over 6.
What do I do with the fraction?
You simplify.
2.
2 over 3.
What do I do with the fraction?
You guys simplify.
What do I do with the denominators?
Put them in front.
3h plus 2, 2h minus 3. Do I check? Of course I check. Is 3 times 2, 6? Is 6 times 4, 24?
Yes.
Is 2 times 3, negative 6?
Yes.
Is negative 6 times 4, negative 24? So are we right? Do you feel you could handle
No.
137 and 138? How many people feel they would benefit from seeing one more on 137? Just the one?
No.
Okay.
No.
What do I do with 2 and 6? Times them. Multiply to 12, add to what, Tasha? 13. Is it 1 and 12? Yeah. So it's n plus 1, but it's not plus 1. What is it? Guys, I'm asking one person specifically. It's not n plus 1. It's over what? Not 12. 2. And then the next one is going to be n plus 12 over what? 2. Then simplify. Does that simplify? No. So it's 2n plus 1. Does that simplify? 12 divided by 2? 6. So that's n plus 6. Yep, because 12 divided by 2 is 6. That's what it simplifies to. Then we check. Is 2n times n 2n squared? Yep. Is 1 times 6 positive 6? So we're right. Done. Finished. Kaput. Is everybody good?
Do we finish off the rest of...
You finish 137 and 138 for homework this weekend. But you have 20 minutes left in the day, and it's only about 10 questions.
Yay.
Should you get it done? Yeah.